What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, here we are at about 303. Long time no see. No, we've been here. We've been around here for the past couple of days, haven't we? On a 4-hour basis, looking at the RSI here, we have bounced out of the oversold zone, and now we're wrestling with the 50. This is kind of a nice look, a little bit of a double bottom area, kind of. Not a lot of pickup in volume, so that's not really agreeing with this movement up, in my opinion. The volume is picking up to the downside, it seems, and not so much to the upside, at least not as of now. We could continue to move up. You don't have to move up with volume. It's not necessarily that cut and dry. But from a low to a high here, what are we doing on our fibs? Went below the 886, went right back above it. I don't know. That's kind of a nice, not conventional, but still a nice look. I would think you might be on your way to the golden ratio right up here. Prior areas of resistance here, prior areas of support and resistance back there. Yeah, maybe at 30346. Maybe you just go up to 3033, something in that area. I could see that happening. It's very common when working your way down to find resistance at these like lower fibs, right? You found resistance just below the 5 here. Maybe you find resistance just below the 618. And then continue on your merry way down to lower prices. You could inevitably see some kind of double bottom or slightly lower low. Perhaps you do go all the way down to the 1272. I'm assuming that from here, Bitcoin will probably drop about 14% or so. If Toshi were to drop in tandem with Bitcoin, a 14% drop already, I can't see Toshi dropping less than Bitcoin. So that already takes you below this low. It's very likely, in other words, that Toshi sees lower lows. So prepare yourselves for that, right? 0002260, 0002059, 00018. All of those targets are applicable. Now, to me, the further down the ladder you go, the less likely it becomes, right? The most likely target, in my opinion, would be something around here. If Bitcoin drops 14%, I have a hard time seeing Toshi drop like more than double that, right? So maybe the 1414 at the worst, but the 1618, I guess the 3018 could be the worst target. You should anticipate that. That way you're not surprised or scared if it happens. And if it does happen, if by some terrible chance we happen to go that low, it'd probably be so short-lived that if you blink, you would miss it, right? So I'm not worried about that at all. You do have a bullish engulfing candle now. Not a lot of volume to back it up. It is about average volume, but not quite average volume. It's not significant enough for me to be too excited about. If you want me to be excited for this thing, what I need to see is a daily close above the golden ratio. If you can close above about 30346, let's just say 30347, if you can close above there on a daily basis, that might be encouraging, guys. That might be encouraging. And I think Bitcoin does promote an opportunity today, perhaps today, for altcoins to recover a little bit, right? Let me just put this in automatic real quick. Get it right there. Bam. Then we don't have to worry about all that zooming. If it continues to move up, if we do see prices back at 86.5K, that could give altcoins a little life, a little oomph, because altcoins have bled a little bit harder recently versus Bitcoin, and being that they've dropped more, they might have more of a reason to snap back at higher levels, at faster velocities. There are a lot of altcoins right now that look like they're at like double bottoms like this, or somewhat significant higher lows, or even slight lower lows, right? Most altcoins, though, haven't seen their lower lows yet, and I do think that they'll get there, but that's just kind of my opinion. Looking at this on a daily time frame, actually, we might need to look at the MAC or the MEXC chart here. MEXC daily RSI to me does look a bit bearish. You're living below the 40, you're living below the 50, and just gasping for air even above the 40. You can't sustain it. It tells me that you want to go down. You probably do go not just to the oversold zone, but into it. You probably do find some kind of higher low here with a lower low in the daily close, giving you bullish divergence to really set things off, right? You had that same kind of look here. I wouldn't call this bullish divergence, but a double bottom at least on the RSI and lower lows. That's a pretty good area to find support there, right? And you did go right below this low here after consolidating for a little bit, and then boom, that was it, right? So just a quick flash crash to the downside. If we look at this from an overall low from back in January 2025 to the high here in January 2025 as well. The next area to consider might be the 786. Oftentimes with the golden ratio, you'll find support there the first time. Rejecting the 5 is very indicative that you will go to the 786. And that area there from a low to a high of where we are right now would take you right to the 1414. So it's not common, in my opinion, to bounce right off the 1414. Sometimes you do go just a little bit through it, and that's fine if you do. Just through that is prior areas of resistance, prior areas of support, so that's fine. Plenty of reasons to find support there. I would very much expect that 3021, 3022, that area holds. I very much do expect that it holds. But at the worst, 3018 could be where you're destined for, right? And being at 3003 right now, that can be a little bit intimidating. But I don't think it's something to be too intimidated by, because again, you will have bullish divergence with this lower low in price and a higher low in the RSI. I would expect that you do see a rapid recovery. How rapid is it going to be? I don't know. But if you look at this low here, that was pretty rapid. That was pretty immediate. It looks insignificant because Toshi just pumps so hard, man. But from a low to a high here in the course of like less than a week's time, we're talking about like 5 days time, you saw a 75% pump, right? Rather rapid recovery here. I don't even need to measure it. You can see how rapid that was. Every step of the way down, whenever you're finding support, it is rather immediate. So the amount of time that you will spend below this low, and I'm pretty convinced, it can change. Don't get me wrong. I hope that in a day or two, depending on how the price action goes, I hope in a day or two, I'm like, you know what? We moved up enough. We still will probably crash with Bitcoin, but it's not likely that we go below this low. But at the moment, I am under the impression that we do see prices just a little bit below that low, just a little bit, enough to cause capitulation. Anybody who bought over here, who thought that they were being smart because they're buying at these lows, and you are smart for buying at the lows. You might not have been smart if you dumped the whole load in right there, right? You have to DCA down because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe they thought they were smart buying at these prior highs right here and then just buying down, right? Finally, you had a little bit of vindication and you're like, oh, good. I was scared right here, but it's okay. And now it's just been draining you, right? Draining you. I think that with this boredom, with this draining, with this desperation, potentially even on an emotional basis for people that have bought at non-ideal areas, you might see capitulation. You probably do see capitulation once you take out this low, as if this low means anything at all. It's not that significant, man. It really isn't that significant. And in fact, what's going to be significant is this next low, wherever it comes in. Maybe it's this low, maybe it is a higher low. Likely it'll be a lower low, and that will be the low to build from to see new highs. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the new highs. 303 right now. I'm going to put on the, maybe I should just use the MEXC chart. I want to use Coinbase, but we're going to use MEXC. Low to high here, or high to low there. It's inappropriate, I guess, to gauge where the highs will be because we don't have the lows yet, right? We don't have the low of this move. But if you see the 1272, if I put a line right here, as I move this anchor point down, that 1272 only goes up, right? Like here it's right there at the line. If I move it down, it only goes up. So these targets will, if anything, be conservative. That's why I'm kind of okay with doing it sometimes like this, but and also because I really do think that we're near the low. But I'm not going to put it at where I perceive the low to be, because that right there, then we're doing too much hocus pocus, and we don't need that, man. So 20414, by the way, from the current price, for anybody who can do quick math, that's already greater than a 10x. That's phenomenal. That's like a, what would that be? That'd be like a 14x, 13x, something like that. What from the current price? 13x, almost a 14x, actually, yeah. That's the first target. Right? What do I mean by first? I mean, that's your minimum. If you break out from here and go to the upside, Toshi, that's your minimum target area right there. A 13x. Phenomenal. Great. Good. That's awesome. Love it. What if you go higher? What if you do go higher? What if this thing here, Toshi, just happens to be one of those meme coins that gains a lot of traction? And I think it will. It's got not, I shouldn't say a lot of volume, but even here on a day where you're boring, you're up 1.5%. For the last 2 days, you've been boring. Last 3 days, you've been boring. Really, you've been very boring lately. A little bit to the downside, but boring, right? Normally in moments like this, you don't see a whole lot of volume, but 9% volume, that's good volume, you guys. That's good volume. Even in the boring times, what's going to happen in the exciting times? I think that you've got people loading up the truck day by day, slowly but surely loading up the truck because they know exactly where this thing's going to go. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but my genuine expectation would be a minimum of a 13x at this point. Minimum of a 13x. If I have expectations, here's the low end. That's the minimum. The high end, we haven't even gone over that yet. Just understand this is not where I expect it to go. That's the minimum of my expectations. It's going to be nuts, man. Hold on. Okay. $122 million right now. If we drop about 20% from here, that's going to provide about a $100 million market cap. 20% from here, Bitcoin drops 14%, $100 million market cap. Nice psychological level of support at $100 million on the market cap. Also, nice areas of support based on the prior price action. I think it makes sense to me, right? $100 million, that's a low enough price on the market cap where if you wanted to see a 10x, that'd be $1 billion market cap. If you wanted to see a 20x, it's a $2 billion market cap. And those are high numbers. Those are not given to anything, not just to any meme coin, but a meme coin like this that's available across a plethora of exchanges, right? I mean, look at it, right? All these exchanges, all of them. Some of them are small, a lot of them are big. It's not on Binance yet, And that could be a very big catalyst for what pumps this thing up, like genuinely. Perhaps Binance is accumulating down here. We don't know. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but whenever you have exposure, a lot of meme coins, they see, you know, if you think about meme coins, and this is not a fact, okay, this is just how I think of them. A lot of meme coins are on dexes. So the people that are on dexes, they're normally the type of people to be in and out. They're paper handed. They're not they're not here for a long time. They're here for a good time, right? And there's so much on dexes that you could just like fold from one hand to another. You can lose your money really quickly. Liquidity isn't as high whenever it comes to dexes, but when you're on centralized exchanges, you also have the capacity to be transacted on dexes, and you're on exchanges, right, with more liquidity, more security, and more outreach. There's plenty of people in crypto that use dexes, and they know how, and it's not that hard. It's not too sophisticated. It's pretty simple to do. But the majority of people don't know how, and they don't even try. They stay away. A lot of people stay away from memes because that's what they're told to do. But whenever you have a coin that's on an exchange, a reputable exchange like Coinbase or Kraken, or let's name some other reputable exchanges here. Let's see, KuCoin, Bybit, MEXC, Bitmart, Femex, Blowfin, right? BitGet, yeah, those are probably the only ones that are like reputable. Whenever you are on exchanges like that, that creates exposure. That creates exposure where anybody can just buy it if they want to. They don't care if it's a meme anymore. Their friends told them to stay away, but look, they're watching it go up. It creates a lot more liquidity, and it's a lot more certain, right? Let me put it in another word, or in another sense. Shiba Inu last cycle pumped up to $80 billion in a market cap valuation. A lot of that happened before it was on exchanges. A lot of that happened after exchanges too, but most of it happened before it was on exchanges. But it only achieved that level because it had that outreach of liquidity. It had that outreach of buying pressure and buying capabilities and selling capabilities for people too. On a DEX, you go to swap, you mess the price up. You can fluctuate the price even with just thousands of dollars, let alone hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. On an exchange, you might move the price with millions of dollars too, or hundreds of millions of dollars, but less so, right? You're not just gonna. You will still move the price around with that kind of money, but not. It's not as detrimental to your cause as it would be on a DEX, right? There's more reasons for all kinds of walks of life to get involved, and I'm just saying, trying to tie this into the idea here that while $2 billion is a lot of money, $2 billion is a lot of money. That's a market cap that most meme coins would be lucky to achieve and let alone hold and grow from. I think coins like this can see multi-billion-dollar market caps, $10 billion market caps, tens of $billion of market caps, right? If Shiba Inu saw 80 billion last cycle, who's to say this can't see 10? Maybe it sees 10. Maybe it does. Maybe it sees more. At a $100 million price, if we see a 20% drop from here, and I think we will, a $10 billion market cap is a 100x. Okay, this coin, in my opinion, is not just 100xable, it's multi-100xable. What if it sees half the prominence that Shiba did? What if it only sees a quarter of the prominence? We've got a multi-100x, a fifth of the prominence, right? It's going to see or significance even. I don't know if prominence is the right word, but it's going to see a multi-100x is kind of my expectations for this thing by the end of the cycle, right? So don't get, and I know that this is the same song and dance we've been singing and dancing to for a couple weeks now or a couple months now. But don't get, the reason why I'm saying this is not to just like blow smoke up your ass, right? It's because I don't want anybody to get fearful at the worst possible time. Ideally, the best possible time to buy this. I'm going to buy some Toshi. I am genuinely going to buy some Toshi once we see prices below this low. I'm going to buy some. I'm not going to buy like a whole lot. It's not going to be the most large part of my portfolio, right? I've kind of sworn off memes as of recent. If I ever do buy memes, it's very insignificant amounts, but I'll put a decent bit in here, right? I don't know how much I'm going to put in yet. Let me just think if I'm going to like a relative ratio of my portfolio, like 2%. 2% or less, right? Nothing too significant. If you have $1,000 to your name and you want to put in more than 2%, I don't blame you. You know what I mean? It's easier to recover that. 2% of my portfolio, it's not so easy for me to just go out and work for. I have to trade. You know, I mean, it can be. It just depends on how volatile and how accurate I am in the markets. You know, at times, but it's not as easy. But 2% is what I'm willing to bet, and that can turn into a lot of money, man. With 100x, a 2% investment could literally in itself triple your portfolio's value at 100x, because 2% times 100 is 200% growth. That's a 3x, right? So that means you can literally more than double your portfolio even with just a 2% investment, let alone if you want to put more in, right? Maybe you're just starting out, you've only got 1,000 invested in crypto, but you're bringing in enough money where you can invest $20, $100 every single week or something like that. okay, you know, you can have more than two, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want, whatever you think is suitable. Put your whole damn portfolio in here, man. I've done that before, and it worked out really well. I've done that before, and it's worked out not so well. It just depends on what you're holding. I do think that this one is a good one. I think that it will grow a lot. I think it has a lot of potential, and we're about to see areas that are the most prime areas to buy probably all 2025. Okay, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Look death in the face and smile and say, not today. And we're going up, man. We're probably going to go up at least here is my thoughts, maybe even higher. If we're looking at this from the sense of the current price, right? If we were to go, let's say we did like a 30x, a 30x from the current price, a 10x is a 12, sorry, is a $1.2 billion market cap. 30x would be about a $4 billion market cap, probably just below there from the current price. So 30x would be $4 billion. That's doable. That's achievable. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it is achievable. There's some very high potential in this thing, and I'm definitely excited to buy some. I'm ready to add it to my portfolio. So once that happens, we'll be doing that. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, and also on a note to end this video, I suppose, don't FOMO. Don't get too excited. If we are expecting lower prices, but we see a quick little pump, even if it's above this high, don't get too excited. Okay. I very much do believe we're going to go below this. So I'll let you guys know if that changes, though, and I'll let you guys know when I buy. I'm very transparent with that. If you want to pay attention to when I buy, just go on x.com. You can follow me here at Chris Harris 85. That's my handle, my ticker. I don't know. I just clicked on it. I don't know why it reloaded and everything, but at Chris Harris 85. That's me. Yeah, this is me. That's me right there. Okay, so if you want to follow, if I'm not at my desk and I can't make a video, I will post on X anytime I buy, anytime I sell. But I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Toshi, final hours, a little bit of a dropperoo to go. If it pumps, don't eat the bait, man. Just wait. Patience. I think over the coming days we'll have resolution. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinions, man. All right, bye.